empty, heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
So lately I've been coming across people who, as I'm explaining to them that the earth is flat, obviously it's hard enough for them to imagine that, but when you tell them that we're in an enclosed cosmology, that the earth is covered by a dome, the firmament, as the scriptures say, that really blows their mind, really wants to shut down the conversation. So I started doing research to try to show that there isn't a conspiracy on this, that there actually is proof that there is a dome, that there is the firmament, and scientists do know these things. As you heard in the first clip, NASA themselves have been hiding this for a long time from us. And the Apollo, I believe it was Apollo 8, those guys, why out of all the Bible they choose to describe and talk about the firmament in Genesis 1:6. It's because they know that they're probably staring right at it when they were recording this. So that's my thoughts. Here's some more of interesting conversation. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and let me know.
Okay, so we're hiding a lot more than the flat Earth here. Basically, everything. People don't know this. I have a physics background. Everything that you can see and experience in life can be explained by the four forces of the universe. There's a strong nuclear force, a weak nuclear force, electromagnetic, and gravity.
Yep.
And string theory, Albert Einstein can never unify these four forces.
Mm-hmm.
And when he died, the proteges come along and go, well, he's working with a limited four-dimensional universe. Let's expand it out to the fifth, the sixth. At the sixth, we discovered this harmonic frequency. And then we went out to the 10th dimension. We found an origin point. And we're like, well, why stop there? And we went out, and at the 26th dimension, there was another origin point. I'm trying to be quick here.
No, you got time. Go ahead.
And then we went out to infinity. So the decision with the string theory, which later became supersymmetry, is the sixth dimension is the harmonic frequency. There's the 10th dimension and the 26th dimension that have origin points. We're like, we don't know which. We had problems like the tachyons and all these kind of problems. And I sent my research to the world's most renowned physicists, and I sent you my paper mark. You're welcome to post it on your website. People can read it. It's copyright 1999 before M theory. So from my paper, I gave permission. I'm horrible at math. I gave permission for people to basically steal my work and develop a theory. And then, after everybody got my paper, I'm sitting there reading the next book, and all of a sudden M theory, and I'm reading it, and it's like verbatim my paper. And I'm like, oh my God, these idiots. They took my paper and they created this imaginary 11th dimension that exists outside the 10 dimensions. And they say the origin point exists outside the physical universe, which is my theory, dead on.
Okay.
And they're saying this is the 11th dimension. Okay. Well, you can say there's a dome, whatever, and this and that. But the point is, even when you go out to the grandiose scale of the universe, even physicists agree that there are boundaries and barriers, and there's something that exists outside of the physical universe. So I don't care if you want to microscope it down to Earth, or even if you take it to the physical universe. Even our scientists say that there is something outside of us. So there's a dome to the universe, there's a dome to the Earth. I don't care what you say, there's a dome.
Yeah.
Yep,
Rob,
good point.
Rob Skiba, and feel free to interrupt me anytime. We've still got 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes. And that is, Rob Skiba was kind of talking about that in some of his videos, where he was saying, he's going, look, from everything I've read, and granted he was using biblical stuff, was saying that, look, it appears like that we're a dome inside a big box.
Scientists at MIT may be confirming the scriptures right in front of us, for us. This is a quote from an article taken from ibtimes.com, and I've got the link there for that. It says, the Earth is protected from fast-moving killer electrons by an invisible plasma shield, which is located thousands of miles above the planet's surface, according to researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and the University of Colorado, Boulder. High above the Earth's atmosphere, harmful electrons that make up the outer band of the Van Allen radiation belt travel at nearly the speed of light, pelting everything in their path. Exposure to such high-energy radiation can harm satellite electronics and pose serious health risks to astronauts. However, despite their intense energy, these electrons circling around the planet's equator cannot come below 7,200 miles from the Earth's surface due to the shield, scientists said in a study published in the journal Nature on Thursday. It's almost like these electrons are running into a glass wall in space, Daniel Baker of the University of Colorado Boulder and the study's lead author said in a statement. Somewhat like the shields created by force fields in Star Trek that were used to repel alien weapons, we are seeing an invisible shield blocking these electrons. It's an extremely puzzling phenomenon. The invisible shield, dubbed the plasmaspheric hiss, is made up of very low-frequency electromagnetic waves in the Earth's upper atmosphere. Scientific data and calculations have helped researchers deduce that the hiss deflects incoming electrons, causing them to smash into neutral gas atoms in the Earth's upper atmosphere and ultimately disappear. It's a very unusual, extraordinary, and pronounced phenomenon, John Foster, Associate Director of MIT's Haystack Observatory, said in a statement. What this tells us is if you parked a satellite or an orbiting space station with humans just inside this impenetrable barrier, you would expect them to have much longer lifetimes. That's a good thing to know. The latest study is based on data collected by NASA's Van Allen probes that are orbiting within the harsh environments of the Van Allen radiation belt. Oh, you mean the one that they just flew through, no problem, back in the 60s? In the 70s? During the study, the researchers observed an, quote, exceedingly sharp barrier, end quote, against harmful electrons, which was steady enough to withstand a solar wind shock in October 2013. To determine what could create and maintain such a barrier, the researchers considered a few possibilities, including effects from the Earth's magnetic field and radio signals from human transmitters on Earth. Oh yeah, it's our Walkman that's causing this. Whatever. And there's another article I should post where they're saying they basically want to poke a hole or blow up or eliminate even the Van Allen belts. Okay, check this out. February 27, 2014, okay, last year. Physicists plan to wipe out Earth's Van Allen belts with radio waves. Got a depiction here of the Van Allen belts, what they look like here. It was just last year that physicists thought they had found the origin of Earth's Van Allen radiation belts. And now, a prominent group of them wants those belts dead. It's understandable, given the frustration these areas of space can cause to modern astrophysicists. If you want to launch a satellite or a telescope, let alone a human being, the Van Allen belts will be a painful thorn in your side. So, says a growing group of astrophysicists, why not wipe them out altogether? It might seem odd to hear scientists propose destroying a feature of the natural world, but there is a decent scientific argument to be made that these belts provide us nothing useful and that we could lose them without a single negative effect. These guys, they think they came from monkeys, okay? This is the way the Earth is... Okay, all flat Earth globe arguments aside, okay, it's understandable, at least as far as we've been told, that there is a belt of radiation over us. And this belt of radiation apparently helps to protect us from other harmful things coming our way from the sun or what have you. You know, regardless of whether the Earth is a globe or flat, everybody seems to agree that these belts are good for us, you know, that they're doing something. They were intended to be there. This place was created with these things around us for a reason. Okay? And these knuckleheads, I think we should just blow it up. I don't really think it's important. I don't know what it does, so let's blow it up. And it's not the first time they wanted to do that. In fact, you could go do a Google search on going nuclear over the Pacific, Smithsonian.com, and learn about Starfish Prime and Operation Fishbowl and all that. It says here, knowledge of radiation in space was still fragmentary and new. It was only 4 years before that, James Van Allen, a University of Iowa physicist who had been experimenting with Geiger counters on satellites, claimed to have discovered that the Earth was encircled by a deadly band of X-rays, and that radiation from the sun hit the satellites so rapidly and furiously that the devices jammed. Van Allen announced his findings on May 1st, 1958. Go back and look at what was going on in 1956 through 58, specifically what was going on in Antarctica with Operation High Jump and Operation Deep Freeze. And then everybody pulled out of Antarctica, they all signed the Antarctic Treaty, and NASA's then created, and all of a sudden Van Allen, you know, does this little experiment when they start shooting stuff up into space, and he finds the Van Allen belts.
Right.
And that, like you were saying, even mainstream science will say, look, there's limits to this. But Rob Skiba was saying, well, look, there's an edge. It's like, because that we're inside some sort of container, which again makes sense to me, because why wouldn't there be? You know, the infinite nobody can ever process the infinite. And I know it's easy for us. It's like, well, you're just trying to deal with it. You're trying to resolve the infinite by creating a box. It's like, well, why wouldn't we? It's but yeah. So I'm sorry, just for the people who don't know, can you expand a little more on the origin point?
So it basically, you know, people know about the double slit experiment, yada yada.
Yeah.
Particles sometimes act as a wave. And I'm trying to be brief here. Sometimes act as a wave. Sometimes there's an observer and act.
The tree falling in the forest.
So basically, we have two fields of physics. There's general relativity, everything large; quantum physics, everything that's small. If you take the equations, like let's say 1 + 1 = 2 in quantum physics, everything's cool. But you take the same 1 + 1 = 2 in general relativity, and it equals 2, 6, 8, -10. And all the equations completely fall apart. And all the equations in general relativity, you apply them to quantum physics, they completely fall apart. And everyone is scratching their heads going, what the hell is going on? And they haven't been able to figure out how to unify them. Well, the answer is, there is a field of general relativity, there is a field of quantum physics, and I discovered the third field of physics, which I just called invisible. Ironically, my paper is called Harmony, and M sits right over the M theory, right over the center symbol of the invisible universe. And, you know, I sent my paper to all the renowned physicists and theoretical mathematicians in the world, and I just find a coincidence that's called M theory, which sits right above my theory. It's like directly out of my paper. It's ironic. And once you identify this third field of physics, it unifies the sixth dimension harmonic frequency. It unifies everything, and it goes according to the Revelation. It's all Bible verse. Okay. I take the book of Revelation, I quote the Bible, I quote physics, you know, left to right. Here's physics, here's the Bible. Here's physics, here's the Bible. I nickname my paper Physics of the Bible.
Yeah.
I'll make it available for free to anybody who wants to read it.
Cool. Wow. That's great. So the paper you sent to me, because people aren't going to email you directly, at least not yet. If anyone's listening, you want a copy, and I'm sorry, the title of the paper is called, because I had no.
Well, I originally called it The Throne of God, because that's the book of Revelation, when he's taken up to the throne of God.
That's what the physics paper is called, The Throne of God?
Well, that's a great question. The plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to.
Guys, read up on this stuff, all right? This is Smithsonian.com. Check that out. There's another good article on NPR. You can look up a very scary light show, exploding H-bombs in space. And when they talk about this, and they got a video here showing footage of Operation Fishbowl, which is a very interesting title for after they find something in Antarctica, which the flat earthers would say is the outer rim of the circle of the Earth, and everybody pulls out. All of a sudden NASA's created, and right after that they start shooting up rockets into space with nuclear warheads on them, and this is what you start seeing with Operation Fishbowl. Operation Fishbowl. Really? I mean, it looks like they found something in Antarctica and they said, oh, what is this? Wonder how high it is. How high does this thing go? They start blowing off nuclear bombs in the atmosphere. Now, were they doing that because they were testing the firmament? Were they trying to blast through the firmament? Or is it about the Van Allen belt with the radiation? Is that the problem? I don't know. This article goes on to describe, again, the Van Allen energy belts and what they came to understand about them, and discover it, then blow it up. The plan was to send rockets hundreds of miles up, higher than the Earth's atmosphere, and then detonate nuclear weapons to see, A, if a bomb's radiation would make it harder to see what was up there, like incoming Russian missiles, B, if an explosion would do any damage to objects nearby, C, if the Van Allen belts would move a blast down the bands to an earthly target, Moscow, for example, and most peculiar, D, if a man-made explosion might alter the natural shape of the belts. The scientific basis for these proposals is not clear. Fleming is trying to figure out if Van Allen had any theoretical reason to suppose the military could use the Van Allen belts to attack a hostile nation. He supposes that at the height of the Cold War, the most pressing argument for a military experiment was, if we don't do it, the Russians will. And indeed, the Russians did test atomic bombs and hydrogen bombs in space. No big surprise, they were also down there in Antarctica prior. And oh, by the way, while we supposedly got ahead of them and started to beat them in the alleged space race, you know, we're led to believe they just, we lost, and they gave up. No, they sent something like 40 missions down to Antarctica while we were playing around with the so-called Apollo space program. So something's going on here, and these psychopaths, you know, they look up there, they see something, oh, that looks cool, let's blow it up. Oh, we don't really think it's important, even though they have admitted that they know it's there for our protection. Why do we put our fate into the hands of monkey men? These people think they came from monkeys, for crying out loud, and they hold within their grasp technology that could make life for us here on Earth very bad when they do things like they're attempting to do at CERN, to rip holes in the fabric of time and space and recreate what they think is the Big Bang, opening up portals, interdimensional, realms. And now keep in mind, these monkey men think that the whole universe got here when a microscopic dot exploded. So what are they doing? They're slamming microscopic dots together, trying to recreate the Big Bang. I don't really think it takes a very high IQ to think that through. Wait a minute. You think we got here from a microscopic dot exploding, and now you're slamming microscopic dots together, trying to explode them and recreate the Big Bang. Hello? Guys, maybe there's a reason why they put the Hindu god Shiva, the god of destruction, dancing in a portal outside their front freaking door. Bunch of lunatics. And meanwhile, elsewhere, a bunch of other lunatic psychopaths are thinking they can poke holes or blow up the Van Allen belt, the very thing that's up there, put there for our protection. You know, people out there thinking I'm crazy. Anyway, let's go back to the original ibtimes.com article regarding the invisible plasma shield. The last quote here says, "It's like looking at the phenomenon with new eyes, with a new set of instrumentation, which give us the detail to say, yes, there is this hard, fast boundary," Foster said. Have they found the firmament? I don't know. I mean, it's not exactly the description of the firmament, but if it's not the firmament, it may be one of the heavens and the layers below it. But whatever the case may be, the choice of words being used, as I've stressed here in bold above, seems more than interesting to me. A hard, fast boundary that is an impenetrable barrier out there about 7,200 miles up? Note also the repeated statements about how harsh space is and in and beyond the Van Allen belts. And yet we were told NASA sent a bunch of guys in jumpsuits and a tin can through it 12 times round trip on at least a half dozen alleged missions to the moon. Job 37:18 says, "Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong as a molten looking glass?" Amos 9:6 in the New American Standard Bible says, "The one who builds his upper chambers in the heavens and has founded his vaulted dome over the earth. He who calls for the waters of the sea and pours them out on the face of the earth. The Lord is his name." There may yet be a legitimate reason people are going back to the scriptures in order to see and test/prove 1 Thessalonians 5:21 the truth for themselves.